Well, I may well have had my complaints about how comfortable it was getting here, but Southend United, in just the seventh season, are a Premier League team. Today, we begin our season against the most familiar opponent possible, our former parent club Southampton. But before that, you might have mocked Luton for building a Premier League squad on 17 million. Well, how about doing it on 4.2? Yes, hello, welcome along to season 7 and a Premier League debut from Southend United. It is part 48 of this series, and we today are up against Russell Martin's men, who we know very well from being our parent club. No help from them this season, none of their familiar faces, but a few bits of very good news, a few good astute signings, and while I haven't spent as much as Luton, I've taken a Luton Town approach to preparing for the Premier League. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we've got on in a transfer window, how we do in our first game against Southampton, and seeing whether we've got any chance of anything other than a relegation battle, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I hope you're looking forward to this one. I hope you can see the familiar name on the home screen. There's a few more of them where that came from. We've got 7 senior additions so far, with 5 of them permanent additions. One of them a paid transfer fee of more than 200,000, and of course a few players leaving the club both released, on loan and permanently. So there's a lot to get through, and there's of course an opening game too. But first I just wanted to quickly address the style. We are not going to change for the Premier League. We are going to be aggressive, we're going to be front footed. We're going to stick with the same formation at home, and away against some of the big teams we'll mix it up, but as we have done in League 1, 2 and the Championship. So if you're looking forward to all of that and seeing what we've done ahead of our Premier League debut, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. But let's get straight over to the transfer centre. A lot of work done so far, and just one more gap in the squad we haven't filled, and that might be a familiar name. Let's get through to the released players and the players out, and then we'll meet the new signings at the club. Right then, we begin with a few quite difficult goodbyes, and one half goodbye, half not goodbye, because Solly March was the first player to leave this summer, but he had pre-agreed a deal to become an under-18s coach, and he's pretty good and promising at that. So if he can get a couple of badges and do pretty well, I've got a feeling he might be an asset for us. But the two big tough goodbyes, yes, they were out on loan last year, and we've sort of done it already, but Will Ferry has left the club on a free. Was part of 4 promotions for this football club. Yes, he didn't really feature in the previous season, but he did make 1 league appearance, so he has been part of every single one. He's been a stunning player for this football club, and even up to the first season in the Championship, he'd stepped up every time we'd got promoted. So he's a massive part of what we've done, as is Sonny Hilton, who again, 168 appearances, again made 1 appearance last season, plenty in the first Championship year, and has been a part of this club since the National League. He in fact signed all the way back in the first season and was a key part of us staying up the first year after the takeover, as well as that famous run to the FA Trophy final. So 2 big legends out to begin, 2 more have left as well. Craig Thompson was our 3rd choice goalkeeper, he's moved on a free, and Ian Baines was a star through the youth academy, and he's still gone to a decent club, but never had the personality, didn't improve with mentoring, and didn't improve with football, so I'm not sure he's ever going to reach his potential, sadly. Let's move on to the players in and out though, because there are a lot of people to get through. Let's start with the transfers out of the club. If we go back to the start of the season, a lot of them are loans, so we'll cover them, and there's a few that have already signed for us in the summer, so we'll leave them till later. But Nicky Morgan did feature a bit towards the end of last season. He was the 3rd player to leave on loan after 2 signings, and Nicky Morgan goes to Sutton United, where I hope he'll do really well. He did show promise and did score a Championship goal in a promotion season, so sky's the limit for this lad if he can keep focused and keep improving. Jack Swift is the other one that featured towards the end of the year. He's gone to Solihull Moors for the season, a good young right back with great fitness, and hopefully will be able to progress too. And then Conley Lawrence Wolfenden has gone to Bromley. He's been out on loan a couple of times and probably won't make it now we've reached this level, but should become a professional that we can move on and is worth a few million quid. If we move on to this season though and the rest of the outs, ignore the ins for now. We have got Elkin Baggett, who we knew was pre-agreed to go to Motherwell. He was a good servant for us, was part of, I want to say, 3 promotions. Yes, he was, and he played a good part in all of them. But ultimately, he wanted to go, and who am I to begrudge him a chance to go and play regular football? Sean Rose has gone out on loan to Carlisle. He is improving, and he does look all right. But whether, again, we signed him as a young player when we were in League One. And if we hadn't stepped up so quickly, he probably would have got some football. He'd probably be part of the squad. But again, now I'm not sure he's going to be good enough. But again, someone we should make a profit on. A few youngsters moving on. Nico Lawrence is still here. He's gone on loan to Rotherham. Again, just the players you forget about, isn't it? We've got another new player who's moved on loan as well before Micah Hutchinson, who's gone on loan to Maidstone this time. Trinidad international, good determination, but not the most ambitious and not really improving at the minute. We've sold Harry Lynch on, who we signed from Glentoran last year. It didn't really work out, but we got our money back, so we can't really have any complaints. He goes to Rotherham in League One for £30,000. Chris Lewis out on loan for the second successive year. He goes to Oldham, but again, probably not going to make it. And that's the thing with some of these young gambles that we get on a free. Some will work out, some won't. But as long as 1 or 2 of them go for decent money, we're covering our costs for all of them. And the odd one does make the first team, like we had with Morehouse first year, like we did with Kingdon, who got sold on. Then I'm a happy man, quite frankly. It's very low risk now we're at this stage. We continued that trend with going Englefield going to Chesterfield. They are now our feeder club. We've got another one, and he has gone there for the rest of this season. Had a big injury out on loan last year, so hopefully this time he can make the improvement. Roddy McGregor and Alex Williams, 2 fringe players in the squad. They've both gone out on loan to Stockport, who have got a surprise promotion to the Championship and not the best squad there. Roddy McGregor, a centre midfielder. Alex Williams, a solid right back. We know both of them can compete at that level, and I'm sure they will do at their new temporary home. Dylan Knight, the young goalkeeper, has gone out to Maidstone. We'll hope he does okay. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Colin Driscoll has gone to Morecambe on loan. He's a pretty good young player, but hasn't developed as much as I expected. Our second feeder club, Ebbsfleet, have taken Tiago Paolucci. He is a young striker with a good personality. No real sign of improvement just yet, despite regular football last year. And then finally, Tranmere have taken Craig Williams. He's gone on loan there. And again, good player through the academy, but won't ever make it at this level now. So this season, and then he probably gets moved on. So overall, not really many senior players leaving. Lots of players out on loan who aren't quite at the level. And of course, if we do go back down next year, which we know is a very strong possibility, the likes of McGregor and Williams and Nico Lawrence, they could be part of the squad. And that's why we've got to be quite cautious about who we let go on a permanent deal. In terms of the ins, though, you will not be surprised to know that I've taken a Luton approach. No risk of the financial future. Let's make sure we're competitive. And these are the players we've brought in. We start with a youngster from Liverpool that was pre-agreed. Ayrton Moses, you saw briefly in the last episode, has now gone on loan to Boston United. He's playing in the National League North and he's starring. And hopefully a season of football will be good for him because he just needs to get some experience now. The second one is a first team addition though. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's 160 grand from Queen's Park because PJ Smith is a very talented young player. 2 international caps for Scotland, now worth 15 million. He's on 4 grand a week. This might end up being one of the bargains of the save, by the way. 3-star ability, 5-star potential. I've bought him in this year basically to be the backup to Andre Santos and also to come off the bench at times. Now, he's got senior experience for Queen's Park, for Hamilton, for Stenhousemuir. He's training well, he's developing well, got a good personality, great natural fitness. I think I've unearthed a gem there, and I think that might end up being one of my best transfers, but I'll see if I'm proven right later down the line. The next one to come in is from Barrytown United in the Welsh Premier League, no less. Richard Mabin popped up in the scout reports there, and for 9 grand was worth a gamble. 1.5-star ability with 3-star potential, but a good personality, fairly professional, good fitness, good stamina, youth international for Northern Ireland. Barry have taken him back for the year, and you know what? I'm sure we'll make a profit on him, if nothing else. The final one that came in at the end of last season was Paul Richardson, who we bought in for free on a very nominal wage following his release, and while he didn't have the best current ability and balance of attributes, he was a model citizen, he's 18. Seen that a lot more this year, by the way, the model citizen personality. It's popping up everywhere. but he's got massive potential. He's going to play in the National League with Woking, and if he can get a regular season with his personality, he should develop. So I'm hoping we might have unearthed one there as well. But let's move on to this season where we get to more of the senior players, because joining PJ Smith is a familiar face. Diogo Fernandez, we had on loan in League 2? League 1. Scored 7 in 15 when Vasco Oliveira picked him up. He has now come on loan from Inter Milan. He is 4.5-star ability by our squad standard. And if you look at him, he's probably barely Premier League level, which tells you where our squad is. But the one thing he's got wherever he's been, he's a proper goal scorer. Look at his youth international record. He's managed to pop up with goals off the bench for Inter and Benfica. And he scored 1 in 2 last time he was here. I think he's going to be a superstar. He can play off the left and the right of a front three as well, which does give us tactical flexibility when we do play away from home. So I really like what he gives us, and I'm hoping he'll be able to be a star again, because my hopes are sort of pinned on him. The next one is the final youngster we bought in this summer, Danny Walker, again from the Welsh League Llandudno. He popped up in the scout reports with 2-star ability, 3-star potential. A young Irish player who's gone to Bohemians and is getting football off the bench at the moment. He's fairly professional, he's improving all the time, and I hope he's going to be a bit of a gem, because he has been scoring goals in Wales, and hopefully he can replicate that in Ireland too. Now we get to the senior additions. There are 4 more here, and there's one more we've got to mention as well. The first one is arguably the most important, because Harrison Parker has joined on a free from City. I think I read it wrong at the end of the last season. He had a loan deal, his work experience contract, which actually went beyond his Man City one. So I had no idea what would have happened if he got released. But we got him in on a free. He is our highest paid player on 17 grand a week, but he's worth it. He's a great centre half. He's got bundles of pace. He's been involved again in 4 promotions for this football club and has been a real key part of our rise. So I want to keep him in. We've got him permanently now. And I think we've got a very solid player. So happy to have him at the football club and happy to make him the highest paid player, level with Andre Santos. The next one is my very Luton head signing, because we needed a backup centre half. We were looking at options. They were costing either loads of money. So Ted Mengi was at Rotherham, but 6 million quid for a League One player. Or we had players in the Championship. We had one from Luton we looked at, who then wanted 35 grand a week. Well, Bashir Humphreys is my perfect solution. He's a solid backup player. He's 26. He's got a point to prove. He's still got potential to grow into. He's just solid across the board. He's versatile. He can play the holding role. He can play left back. He's quick enough. He's good enough. For me, he's a gem. So very happy to have him as my third choice on just 10 grand a week. The next one is a new third choice goalkeeper, or second as it may be, because Callum McKenna, a 22-year-old Scottish goalkeeper, former youth international for the nation, 3 grand a week and okay attributes. Probably just about better than Joe Rose, so might get the nod ahead of him. And big potential if we can get him developing. He's got loads of senior appearances already, which is really important for a young goalkeeper. He got to Sunderland for big money, who never gave him a chance, don't know why. He's played League One seasons for Crewe and Salford, played loads in the Scottish second tier for Queen's Park, and definitely has the signs of a good goalkeeper. So we'll keep him on the books, we'll keep him developing, and we'll see how we get on. Then we've got the biggest signing of the summer, and it was almost a different name. We tried to sign Josh Craven, who was transfer listed by request by Southampton. He'd been on loan with us twice before, but he wanted 30 grand a week. And I've made the decision, if I can't get ready-made Premier League players, which I obviously can't, Diogo Fernandez is maybe the only one, then we're going to build a top championship team. That's what we've done by bringing in Parker, by bringing in PJ Smith, and probably Bashir Humphreys as well. And I feel I've done this with this guy. But I haven't just bought in players that are good players. I've bought in young players. And Ahmed Adeniji is a superstar in waiting, a bit like PJ Smith. We get him for £4 million. He is a resolute young fullback who can also play on the right of midfield. Only 2.5-star ability. No better at the moment than a Brooking, than a Carrington, those sort of people. But look at his potential. It's huge. He's been in England youth teams. He's got massive opportunity to develop. He's got great natural fitness. He's got good determination. And most importantly, he's good defensively, which we're going to need this year. So I'm really pleased to have him here after featuring for England in the Under-20 World Cup. And I'm hoping that while he might not be ready for the Premier League this season, it'll be one of those cases where maybe playing a season of Premier League football, then maybe being involved in a Championship promotion next year, and in 2 years' time we've got a superstar on our hands. That's the hope anyway. And to be in the Premier League with our top earner on 17 grand a week, both Santos and Parker, got a few others in the 14s around it, we're in a really good position. And you know what? If we come straight back down, so be it. We've got 2 players out of contract at the end of this season that I'm worried about. Hugh Gilt still unhappy for some reason about that bid from Stoke on January deadline day. And then we've got Tyler Goodrum, who wants 30 grand a week. So I'd rather lose him for free, quite frankly. But overall now, we have got a pretty good squad, aside from one position, because we've got a bit of a problem on the left of midfield. Yes, Goodrum and Parts can cover out there. And yes, to be fair, if we're playing a front three, both Perkins and Fernandes can feature. But as an out-and-out left midfielder at the minute, we only really have one player, which is the youngster Anselm. He is the model citizen, he is improving, I have no problem with him starting today. But as we get through to the end of the month, we might want to look at someone else. And that someone else, maybe Sam Ammo. We've got loads of coaching improvements coming in, but Sam Ammo may be the other addition to the squad because he is transfer listed again. They are trying to get him out of the club at Southampton. And while he is on a big wage, and that might be the stumbling block, we've had one offer rejected already. He's someone that I'm hoping towards the end of the year we can go back in for. In fact, he's come back off. No, he is. He's transfer listed by request. And the fee is popping down. It started at 12 million. Now it's down to 7.8. I'm going to bide my time with that one and then make some business on deadline day. For now, though, let's go and get through to the opening of the season. See where we're expected to finish, because you will not be surprised to see that as well as being expected to just fight bravely by the fans and the board, the media have given us no chance. We are 1,000 to 1. We are not even in with a whisper of staying up. Coventry have lost against Sheffield United already, who, by the way, UEFA Champions League, Sheffield United and Brentford. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's gone on here? Why are Sheffield United in the Champions League? They didn't finish 5th, surely. Let's have a look at the stages last season. Oh my word. Brentford finished 3rd last year. Sheffield United finished 5th. And both got into the Champions League. Holy smokes, what's gone on in this save? We're only in season 6. I really don't understand that. It's an incredible effort from both. United must have won the Champions League or Europa League because they finished 7th and they're still in it. And then people like Tottenham down in 9th missing out. We go back to the season preview though, and what we were actually looking at. We are the favourites to go down, as are the other 2 promoted clubs. It's almost got the vibe of the same as real life this season, where 3 clubs have come up and should be favourites to go down. But let's go to the Southampton game. You would argue on paper, this is one of those we've got to try and get a result. They've not got the best side in the league. They've been drifting into the bottom half in recent years. They've still got a few of the familiar faces, but not that many now. And they are signing other players from elsewhere. Amdouni, Dominguez in particular, Mark Rocker too. 3 players you'll recognise from other English clubs. The Steve Tilson Arena, or Steve Tilson Park, whatever it is sold out. We've got to pick our 11. We've still got Dan Rose as our first choice keeper. We've still got most of the rest of the squad from last year. And oh, I forgot to mention a final signing, didn't I? Mirko Tanani, we did manage to keep another year. We had to put a ridiculous future fee clause in that we're not going to pay. We've got him in, probably only till January because we promised to play him a different position. It was the only way we could get it done. But for 6 months, Tanani is here. And my God, he'll be first choice on the right. Let's go and get this 11 pick. No tactical changes. We'll be back in a minute to run through it and make our Premier League debut. Here we are then for our Premier League debut, and this is the team we've gone for. It's pretty strong, bar the Morehouse one, who has been out injured a lot of pre-season, not really featured, lacking match fitness, but Reece Russell-Denny's in the same boat, so it doesn't really matter. The 11 we've got in for, though, is Dan Rose in goal. Please don't get injured today because we don't want to give the other lad his debut on a day like this. Ishmael had been the one player we'd got a lot of interest in the summer, was linked with Saudi clubs, but in the end it didn't materialise. He has got a release clause of 25 million and he's worth nearly that much, so don't be shocked if it goes. I'm not going to be gutted if we lose him for that price though. Ishmael and Adeniji, the fullbacks, he makes his debut. Think he is the only first-time debutant in a team today. Kwanzaa and Parker reunited at centre-half. Tanani on the right wing, second debut for him. Anselm, the only option on the left-hand side. Andre Santos and Morehouse, the reliable midfield partnership, albeit Morehouse won't do 90. And then Joe Hugill, still here for now, is joined for a second debut by Diogo Fernandez up front. That means Jayden Danns drops to the bench. We've got a lot of familiar names there, and potentially in a goalkeeper, Humphreys, and in PJ Smith, 3 debutants as well. But for now, it's just one in the starting 11. It's a big opportunity against Southampton. If we want any chance of staying up, we've got to get results in these games. Well, I have accused this game of being a bit too easy during this save. Am I going to get my fitting comeuppance today? Because this is a Southampton side expected to be just above that dotted line. Are we going to be able to give them a game? Because we have been in a brilliant run of momentum in the Championship, but we lost the last 2 games. We've not had the best pre-season in the world, and we've not had as much change as we probably have liked to have, albeit we've stuck with the core. Will they deliver here again? I'm not sure. Harrison Parker, of course, making his debut as a permanent player, and you can see we're pressing high, which may cost us. As here comes Southampton on a break with Kennedy. Well won back, though, by Morehouse. Hugill breaks away to Tanani. We couldn't, could we? Fernandez in the middle. Tanani across is blocked by the keeper, and Joe Hugill puts it in. Just 9 minutes into the Premier League season. No way. It's a defensive error, and Hugill's there to pounce, but surely not. Tanani with the assist, the best player at the club now, I think. Madness. We are 1-0 up. We've had all the shots on target. Are we just surprising them? Are we doing a Blackpool? I don't know. But Southampton have not had a shot in 33 minutes, which seems a little bit off. Sousa gets the ball at the back and plays to Bazunu. Of course, Russell Martin is playing out from the back, which probably explains the first goal. His teams do that occasionally, as Fernandez nicks it for Tanani. The 2 stars combining. Gets into the box, finds Hugill again. Oh my word. The flag's down, the referee's hand went up. I think this is okay, you know. I think Joe Hugill might have just scored 2. And with him out of contract next summer, we can get him worth enough money before the end of August. We might have to take a hit on him. Because at the moment, he's delivering a remarkable Premier League debut. We lead 2-0. We've had 35% of the ball. We've had 3 shots on target and scored 2 of them. I think we're going to win our first Premier League game. I know it's a dangerous thing to say at half-time against a team with better quality. But it does really look like it's going to happen, as we're on the front foot again with Ishmael. We're second in the Premier League as it stands, people. Take a screenshot of that as Andre Santos down the left-hand side towards Fernandez, who's beaten to it. Dominguez brings it away with a big switch to Amdouni. Can Southampton get back into the game and put us under pressure? Baldanzi going backwards. Classic Russell Martin football this, as Mark Rocker plays it out again. Into Dardai, the centre-half, who to be fair has got a knock. And he plays into Dominguez. Well nicked by Morehouse. Look at him go again. Morehouse to Tanani. He's been a threat all day. Marco Tanani. 3-0 no off the post. I thought he'd done it again. We're carving them to shreds down that right-hand side. 2 assists already. He's almost added a goal. Marco Tanani, what is going on? I was going to take Morehouse off because he was struggling physically, but he's absolutely flying. We'll make some changes in a minute. Because we're 20 to go, Fernandez is now struggling a bit. Hugill is, but he's on a hat-trick. I'm not going to take him off yet. We're going to put Jayden Danns on for Diogo Fernandez. Good second debut for him. Anselm can't be replaced at the minute. So we're going to go Morehouse off and PJ Smith will make his debut. Santos will switch sides. Adeniji's having a good one. I don't want to do much else. What we could do towards the end, if we save the subs right till the end, we can bring on Humphreys for his debut. We can bring on Presley for Hugill just so he gets that Premier League appearance. A bit like we did with Cardwell in EFL. And then what else have we got? Tyler Goodrum could come on. Marco Tanani could get a standing ovation. He bloody deserves it. Or we could bring Parks on the left of midfield for Anselm just so he gets a few minutes rest because we're going to need to rely on him. And let's be fair, everything's come down the other side today. As Kennedy puts the ball across, Smith intercepts it. His debut started well, but the pass was poor. And Walker Peters cuts in from the right. This spells trouble with Jasper. Ball into the back post. Keeper misses it. It's 2-1. Zeki Amdouni gets the goal. The pressure is going to build on Southend now. It wasn't going to be easy, was it? Let's see how the final 10 goes. There are tired legs everywhere. I'm going to make a couple more now. We are going to go defensive on the left. We'll bring on Parks as an auxiliary midfielder. Tanani is really starting to fatigue on the right, so we'll bring Goodrum on for him. And we'll save the final sub a few more minutes. Might bring Humphreys on for Hugill and go our back five. Think we're going to do that. We've got to get used to being adaptable this year. Humphreys will replace Hugill. We'll leave Dan's up front on his own. Humphreys will go in the middle of the back three. We'll get Dan's up there. We'll get a winger on support for Goodrum. And then I think the best in the middle of the three is Parker. And Humphreys, despite being a right footer, prefers playing on the left. So we might just move him over and do it as such. Because this would be a huge 3 points. We're going to time waste all the time. We're going to be a little bit more disciplined now. We're going to slow the pace down. And we're just going to try and hold on. Because let's be honest, 3 points is going to be hard to come by this year. We're playing one of the weakest sides in the division. It's been an even game, but they've given up space out wide. But will we hold on because Kennedy's in? No! Oh, he's given a penalty. The commentary straight away said it looks harsh. The 95th minute is going to be cruel. But it's only going to be a point unless Dan Rose can reduce a moment of magic. I tried very hard to replace him, I won't lie. But you have now got a chance to cement yourself as a Premier League legend. Amdouni scored one. Dan Rose saves it. You wonderful man. What a save, Dan Rose. Yes, straight down the middle, and it's just because he didn't dive. But he tips it over the bar. And the history books won't remember that. It will say Dan Rose Premier League debut. Following 3 promotions. 95th minute penalty save. And Southend United take 3 points. Southampton have more shots on target. They are dominating the ball. And we went through the ringer at the end there. But Dan Rose, what was I thinking of trying to replace you? Man of the match on his Premier League debut, possibly. Tanani might have something to say about that. What a win. 3 points on the board just. But let's be honest here. We've scraped past one of the worst sides in the division at home. It's not going to make it an easy season. But it's 3 points more, and certainly 2 more, than we thought we were going to have a minute ago. 2 debutants, PJ Smith and Adeniji. Why is Humphreys not mentioned there? He definitely made a debut. Has he played for Southend before? No, he hasn't, so they've just missed something there. But 2 debutants, a brilliant performance from Tanani. We've got these players, him and Fernandez, on loan because we think they might give us that bit of magic. And at the moment, he's certainly done that. 3 points on the board. Let's have a look at the schedule. Because unfortunately, it only gets a bit harder from there. Although I say that, our first 3 home games in the Premier League were Southampton, who were very close to the relegation zone last year, and then the 2 fellow promoted sides in Bristol City and Coventry. So I feel I've got to show one of those. But Liverpool away in between them is a pretty historic Premier League game, but we can't worry about that for now. We've got transfer deadline day around the corner. I want to see if there's interest in our players. I want to see if we can get Sam Ammo or another left winger in. So we're going to do deadline day and Wolves next time up. Then we might do Coventry at home depending on how the start goes, because I feel we need to show those games. They're going to be the season defining ones. For now though, if you did enjoy this, Dan Rose producing heroics for the 4th successive division. Remember when I said that's a lot of money for a keeper at our level? Remember when I said we had another option on a free and we went for Dan Rose instead? Well, I think we might have proven it's the right decision now. Dan Rose is surely going to be in an Ireland squad soon, because he has given us 3 points on our Premier League debut. We'll be back for deadline day and Wolves next time out. If you enjoyed it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We had a very big episode in the head coach yesterday, and it could be an interesting finish to the season tomorrow, where we again face Southampton in that one. If you want to stay up to date with that one, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll of course be back with this one in a couple of days' time, and hopefully some exciting news on deadline day. Will we get tempted with big offers for one of our stars? Guess we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime though, you can find links in the eye above to the Twitch channel for regular live streams, to the football podcast with loads of content including predictions, and much more as well. Thank you very much for your support with the one-offs in the recent weeks. They've been much appreciated. But I'll see you back here next time for the big one as transfer deadline day looms in the Premier League, and crucially, albeit just about, we've got 3 points on the board.